Welcome to TERRA at Home with your host, Chris Moretti.
Good morning and welcome to TERRA at Home. We're joined once again by Colleen Zimmerman, our green goods buyer for TERRA. Thanks for being with us, Colleen.
Thank you.
Of course, with the Christmas season getting closer and closer, we're well underway here at TERRA, and you're here to give us another glimpse at a few things that we're very excited about this season.
Yes, we're talking about how to incorporate your inside themes with your outside themes so that you have one cohesive look throughout.
It's fabulous, and we've got such a wide range of themes available at TERRA this season in our indoor tree decor, all sorts of a wide range of things, and now we've coordinated those looks all the way through to the outside with outdoor arrangements and wreaths and other assorted things, so it's pretty fun. What have we got right here? We've got our first theme.
Our first one here is quite a natural theme, and it's quite a good transition from fall into winter because it is natural. It has the coppers and a little bit of the glitz, so then that helps bring it a little bit more festive look, but it has the natural magnolia. This has some glittered palm caps to it, our lotus caps, and some pine cones, as well as the ever popular birch branches.
So we're using natural elements that have been, I guess, glammed up a little bit. Copper is a big look. We introduced it at TERRA last season and saw a great response in sort of a new metallic to the range of metallics. Obviously, gold is something we think of at Christmas. We think of silver a lot, but coppers are bringing sort of a new element to the sheen of Christmas.
Yes, copper has been popular in fashion and in home decor for the last number of years, and now bringing it outside with some of our copper accents, we found a huge popularity.
So this large arrangement here is one of the big custom arrangements you can find at TERRA that coordinates with a couple of the tree themes inside, but we now have these same elements and these same colors brought out into other elements of outdoor decor as well.
Yes, so for your door, or for a garage or window or anything, we have a live wreath here that has the same elements that our arrangement has here, with some chocolate browns and the nice mesh kind of burlap type ribbon to it, as well as the white tip pine cones to give it a little bit more of a wintry look.
So you mentioned something earlier, that transition from fall into winter. So now, you know, being November, we might not want to be in full-blown Christmas. Something like this with a take on naturals can be a nice transition piece as you move from fall into winter and then Christmas.
Very much so.
Okay, so we've got those same elements then again here in a candy cane shape as well. So this is another sort of new addition this season, and I love the use of the same colors. So you could use all three of these pieces in different spots to really pull your outdoor look together.
Exactly, and with the candy cane, it is a little bit more seasonal, so it's a little bit more Christmassy, being in that shape, but it still blends in with the decor and the themes of the other ones.
So really, maybe you could even use a wreath as a beginning point and then swap it out with your candy cane as we get closer to Christmas.
Very true.
That works too.
Yes.
Now, one more element for this theme as well is to bring it inside the house, and we've got an example of that too, where we've taken not just the outdoor greens arrangements, but also small tabletop arrangements that can use those same elements again.
Exactly, so you can have your inside Christmas tree theme, you have your outdoor door decorations and your liners, and then you can also have this on your tabletops, then it would match and coordinate all together.
Pretty good, Colleen. Let's move on to our next theme over here. We've got perhaps a little more of a traditional look as we're talking about Christmas, and maybe a bit later in the season as we want to introduce those reds. This is a good transition piece here where we're not fully glamored or glitzed up, but we've got good natural elements and the introduction of a pop of red.
Exactly. With the everlasting red magnolia and the pine cones and the cigars here, you still have the natural look, but it's a little bit more festive using that red color, and red is still a really popular color this time of year.
Obviously, yes. We talked about this magnolia last week, where we've got everlasting magnolia, so that's a new addition this season that we're very excited about because it won't run or drip, and of course it stays looking bright and beautiful all season long.
Yes.
Fabulous. We'll move forward one more time. We've got another theme here to talk about now. Here is Christmas as we know it, as we love it. Kind of a traditional take, but we've got some really nice elements here of bright color that play through the entire theme.
Yeah, so this is similar to the one that we just looked at, however it's a little bit larger scale. So it incorporates the birch branches again, as well as some sugared apples that are everlasting. So again, they'll last all through the winter, and it doesn't matter if they freeze.
Now these are these right here.
Yes.
That's an element that I really love. You'll find sugared fruits through a whole bunch of different types of arrangements as well. So obviously this is sort of a traditional apple, but everything from our Tiffany blue pears to green pears, different elements of fruit. This is sort of the way to go, as opposed to live fruit that might rot on the stick.
Yeah, and with the sugar, it also provides a little bit of sparkle, especially if it's uplit or just with your lights at nighttime.
Fabulous. Other elements we've got, of course, birch has been a big trend in the last few years in this element here. And then, of course, the reds all throughout are sort of what pull the whole thing together.
Yes.
Let's talk about the other elements we've got here.
Again, what also makes this traditional is the tartan, which is ever popular at Christmas, so just with a little bit of the ribbon. And again, with the pine cones, the natural features, and the berries, it kind of brings in that traditional feel, but it's natural. But this, with the ribbon, it gives it a little bit more sparkle and whimsy to it.
And then, of course, we've got the same accents in our candy cane as well. So no matter which theme you choose, you can find sort of elements that pull through in different shapes and sizes.
Yes.
Wonderful. That one's really nice. It's got a nice big burst of color all throughout. That's lovely.
Yeah, it's quite showy, so it would be good if you have like a larger home, or you want to use a multiple of them along your garage doors if you have multiple garage, or on windows even across the front of your house.
So let's talk about using these elements outside. Now, we've talked about traditional arrangements before, where they come in either a drop-in for your traditional urn, or a standalone pot like this, where you just have to drop it and walk away. Care for these are fairly simple. We want to keep them well watered until it freezes.
Yes.
What about these elements like wreaths and candy canes? Is there anything that we need to do to keep them looking really good?
For the most part, if you're using them outdoors, you don't have to do anything with them. Once things freeze, they kind of just hold their own until springtime, and then they'll start to look a little tired. If you're using them inside, you may want to mist them with some water once in a while, just to keep them hydrated, because they will dry out a lot faster inside.
Okay, that's a good point. If you don't see a theme pre-made in the store that really speaks to you, or perhaps you've got your own take on Christmas that you've done with your own home decor, you don't necessarily have to buy something pre-made. We've got our designers who could in fact make something custom just for you.
Yes, we have lots of different ideas that you can use, and lots of designers with good ideas that can help you make that custom look, so you can blend your own theme from inside to outside, whether it be a liner or in a wreath.
We can even perhaps shop off of the trees inside the TERRA showroom as well, and carry that through too that way.
Yes, so there's a lot of ornaments that can be used outside as well as inside, and that can pull out your theme so that you can have that cohesive look again.
So how about for you? Is there a favorite theme that you'll be putting on your front porch this season?
It's going to be a tough call, but I think I'm going for the natural birch and red this year.
It is very nice. It's very showy, quite traditional, but it definitely stands out to give you some curb appeal from all the way on the other side of the street. That's fabulous. Thank you so much, Colleen, and we look forward to taking a look at the rest of what we have to offer here at TERRA this season. Greenery is one of my favorite things, so I like picking your brain about what's happening this year. Stay tuned for more from TERRA at Home as we prepare for the Christmas season coming up next.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home. As we approach gift-giving season, we're now at Citizen Kid on Locke Street in Hamilton, and I'm joined by Rebecca Bamford. Thank you so much for being with us, Rebecca.
Thank you.
This is a lovely store. Tell us a bit about Citizen Kid.
Well, Citizen Kid is a quality toy store, and we focus on toys made of natural materials. And we have things that are fair trade and handmade, and eco-friendly.
Can you explain fair trade a little bit? I think that's something that we think of when we think of coffee, maybe a few other things, but I don't know that I would have considered fair trade toys. What does that look like?
Fair trade refers to things that are made in developing countries, and people are treated fairly for the work that they do. So they're paid fair wages, their working environment is safe, they don't have to leave their villages or their homes sometimes. So yeah, and there's no child labor, things like that. So
Okay.
it's good working conditions for people in developing countries.
That's a fabulous concept, and there are obviously many great examples of fair trade toys here at Citizen Kid. As we're approaching the gift-giving season, obviously, with Christmas right around the corner, this could be a great place to come to discover things that you won't necessarily find at another toy store. What makes Citizen Kid so different?
Well, we source out really unique products from all around the world. And we do have toys that are more natural, and they're toys that kids are more open-ended with their play.
Okay.
Rather than being told how to play with a toy, it's more open-ended. They can do whatever they want with the toy.
So it's more about, excuse me, creativity and imagination.
That's right.
Interesting. Okay, so as we approach Christmas, obviously, we're shopping for children of all ages. And can you give us some examples of maybe some hot toys that we might want to make sure to find for different age groups?
Well, we have toys for every age group, from up till about age 8 or 10, depending on what kids like to do at that age. But all the way from newborn to that age. So we do have quite a few things. We've got some things over here. These dolls are really popular. They're a fair trade item from Peru.
Okay.
They're designed in the U.S. and made there fairly in Peru.
I see a whole bunch of different examples. I mean, different types of dolls. We've got a girl and animals, so different types of dolls. Is that the idea?
Different types and different sizes. This size, you can get clothes to go with them, so you can dress them.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a really nice thing, and they're all hand knit. So.
Being plush as well, obviously this would work anywhere from baby all the way up to...
Yeah, whatever age kids enjoy. Some kids really love dolls and plush, you know, at all sorts of ages, so yeah.
All right, and they're sitting in a lovely little pram there. Let's talk about that.
This is one of my favorite items in the store. This company, Mover, designs these toys, and they're made of birch. There's a whole bunch of different kinds, but the pram is my favorite. It's really sweet. It's one piece. You don't have to assemble it. It comes right out of the box, and it's ready to play with.
That's hard to find.
I know.
What about it do you like so much?
I love the design. I think it's beautiful. The little heart detail is so sweet. And this one also comes in a red color.
Okay.
So there's some options there as well. I just think design-wise, that's something that you wouldn't mind having around your house.
Yeah.
And kids will like to play with it too.
Something with a solid construction that is very few pieces as well, I think is maybe built for a bit more longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is something that you could get for your child, and then your child might have it for their child.
Perfect.
So that's a great way to be eco-friendly too.
We've got a rainbow in front here. Tell us about this.
Yeah, this is one of our most popular toys. These are hand finished in Germany, and they're dyed with safe, kid-friendly dyes. This is a great toy because it's very versatile. You can stack it, you can nest it. It's great for learning colors, but it's great for pretend play too. Like my kids have one of these, and they use these pieces as telephones or as bridges for their train tracks and things like that. So there's a whole bunch of things that kids can do with a toy like that.
So this is what we mean when you say something like open-ended play.
That's right.
Where we've got something that's a simple structure in fun colors, and really it's up to the kids to decide what it is and what to do with it.
That's right. And you see kids doing that all the time with things, you know, as simple as a cardboard box, right?
Well, that's the old adage, right? You give them a
right.
fancy toy and they'd rather play with the box.
Yeah.
Let's move on to, we've got one more example down here with this little forklift.
This is a great toy. This company that makes this toy is based in Thailand. They're called Plan Toys, and they make all their toys out of recycled rubber wood. Cool. So it's great in that way because it reuses a material that is recycled.
Right.
So and then they just make really great quality toys as well. So something like that has a lot of play value. You can move this one up and down, so that's kind of fun. It comes with these blocks, so you can pretend that you're going all over and picking things up.
I actually don't know if I've ever seen a toy forklift before, so that's something really cool.
Yeah, it's unique, right?
And obviously in this line of planned toys, it's not just at forklifts, of course, but there are a whole bunch of different options for that line of toys in particular.
Absolutely. They make trains and early learning toys, doll houses, and all of their toy lines are very popular in the store. They make musical instruments, so it's a great line. We love having this line in the store.
Wonderful. It doesn't stop at kids and toddlers, though. You also do products for babies.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk a little bit about maybe most popular gifts for babies for Christmas.
Well, sometimes people really like to get larger gifts at Christmas for babies. So ride-on toys are always popular. We've got a great rocking horse that comes from Europe. Walkers, you know, if baby is not quite walking yet and you want to encourage that a little bit, we have a couple different styles of walkers. So things like that are really great gifts to give at Christmas for the baby.
Fantastic. I'm intrigued by the concept of open-ended play, and that's something that I think that makes Citizen Kid really unique. Can you give us some ideas or tips maybe for parents at home how to more encourage creative and open-ended play, and how to begin getting into that with kids at home?
Well, I think you can start by just giving your child simple things to play with. Nothing complicated, nothing that has one use.
Right.
You know, things that have multiple uses, and then encourage them to find different ways to play with those things. You can give them ideas for games, but usually they'll come up with those ideas themselves. But just go with that. You know, if you see your child having fun, being imaginative with something, then encourage that.
Fabulous. Quickly before we go, I also see a great selection of games here, and that's obviously something else that really comes into play as we head into the Christmas season. What makes the game line here a little bit different? I see some really unique ones here.
Yeah, we have a really wonderful game line that comes out of Perth, Ontario, so it's local. They're cooperative games. So the idea is that you work together toward a common goal, which is kind of a different way to approach game playing.
As opposed to being competitive.
That's right.
Right.
So we have competitive games as well, but that line of games really people respond well to, and we do really well with that line.
Fantastic. Rebecca, thank you so much for having us here. I think I'm going to get shopping. It's time to start. Join us after the break for some fun in the kitchen with Chef Rachel.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home, where I'm now in the kitchen with Chef Rachel. Thank you for joining us, as always, Rachel.
Thank you, Chris.
We're putting some of our seasonal vegetables to use with some hearty, feel-good recipe here. What are we making today?
Today we're making a carrot soup.
Sounds
We're
great.
going to add a little bit of cayenne pepper in there, so after each bite you get a little kick.
I like it.
Okay. Okay, so to start, 6 carrots, peeled and diced up. The smaller you dice it, the shorter the cooking time. So I diced them, medium to small. And then I just put them in a pot, covered them with cold water, brought it to a boil, and let them boil for about 15, 20 minutes or so until they're nice and tender. And we're gonna puree them in the blender there. So that's your job.
Oh boy, we're allowing me to use appliances again, so that's always fun.
So we have the 6 carrots in there, a little bit of the cooking juice just to get it going there. A spatula for you. So yeah, we just want to put if they'll all fit in there, just puree them up till it's nice and smooth. If we have to do it in batches, we can do that too. But I think
What do you
that's
think?
probably
We'll give
good.
it a shot. Okay.
Let's try that.
Lid on for safety.
Okay, so in this case, we might have to take a little bit out and do it a couple batches at a time.
Okay.
You can also be adding in a little bit of the cooking water just to get the right consistency. In the meantime, I'm going to heat some butter in the same pan that I used to boil the carrots, about 4 tablespoons. I'm going to saute some onion in there.
So I can go with this?
Sure, try it again. That's okay. It might take some time just using the spatula to get it all mixed up.
Okay.
That's normal, it's okay. Okay, so we have this pan on high and I'm just gonna start melting this butter here. We're gonna add in some onions, but I'm actually gonna grate the onions instead of chopping them today.
Okay.
So we're not, after we puree the carrots, that's all we're pureeing. Everything else is gonna go into this pan. So the fact that the onions are grated and not chopped just gives a little less crunch, right?
Okay,
Because
so,
if we were to chop them up, then we would want to puree them again. But in this case, it'll be so fine that we don't have to worry about it.
I've never grated an onion.
So it's really easy, simple. Let's see. That's a little small. Test it out, see how it goes. It'll stick to the back of the grater, so you're gonna have to scoop it off. About half an onion should do. It's a little bit of a hard workout here, but
Well, it's almost, you're not getting, like you said, you're not getting pieces, you're not getting chunks. It's more almost liquefied, I guess.
right. But you will have a little bit of that, a little bit of a crunch in there, some of the bigger pieces, but not too much. Okay, that looks pretty good.
Now, as an option, Rachel, could you add the onion with the carrot in the blender if you wanted to do it that way, or
Yes.
do you recommend this way over the other?
I don't think one way is necessarily better than the other. This way, you are actually going to get little pieces of onion, a little bit more flavor in there. But you could definitely puree it in there. I mean, you'll still taste the onion, but it'll just be a lot more smooth.
Okay.
Okay. So this, like the carrots, is a bit messy. But we'll just scoop it all out here and add it right into the butter. I'll just cook that for, 30 seconds or so. Pass that off to you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so you get a lot of the juice in there. Okay, so add that to the pan. There's very few ingredients in this recipe.
Which is nice.
Which is nice, yep. But it makes for a really tasty soup. So just saute that for a moment, turn it up to about medium heat. And while that's cooking, I have about 3 tablespoons of flour. We'll add that in. That'll allow the soup to be a little more thick.
Okay. Something I like about this recipe, Rachel, is we're using ingredients that you're going to have on hand all winter long. So as opposed to a seasonal soup that uses, say, something fresh from the garden like tomatoes that you may not have on hand all winter unless you've done some preserving, carrots are something that keep in the cold cellar. We find them readily available from Ontario all the way through the winter months. So this could be a nice go-to staple for your winter pantry.
Okay, so you can see how that's getting quite thick.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. At this time, we can add in our stock.
Okay.
So in this recipe, I'm using chicken stock. Has a little bit more flavor than veg, but of course, if you're cooking for a vegetarian in your family, you want to stick with the vegetable stock with the carrots and the onion.
Okay.
This will give it a bit more flavor for us. So we'll just add that in.
That's easy enough.
And then we also have cream.
Okay.
We're just going to use a light cream, 5%. About 2 cups of that. We can add that in.
And that'll just give it a bit of richness.
Right? Exactly. Okay, so I'll add that in now. And then we can simmer this for about a minute or so. And then we'll add in our seasonings.
What spices are we working with? You mentioned cayenne, so that's going to give us a nice little bit of heat.
Right.
And then salt and pepper.
Yep, that's all I'm using for this recipe here. We're going to finish it off with some cilantro at the end, just some fresh cilantro on top. But you could definitely add in fresh herbs to the mixture, right?
Okay.
Any kind of herbs that you have on hand.
And yeah, you could really
anything
change
would
the
work.
flavor of it from a nice woody rosemary would be sort of a fall taste, and then maybe some fresh thyme would take on a different element altogether. So you could really have fun seasoning this in different ways as you make it throughout the season.
Right, and using maybe different spices as well.
Yeah.
Right, taking on maybe an Indian type carrot soup flavor and adding in some curry.
Oh, that would
or,
be really good. Coriander.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so we've got the salt and pepper in there, and we're gonna add a little bit of cayenne. You never really know how much to add, but I like it a little spicy, so I'll do a nice generous pinch there. So we'll let this simmer for a minute, and then, after a minute or so, we can add in the carrot puree.
Okay, so I'll get back to work pureeing this batch of carrots, and when we come back, we'll put the whole thing together and get it ready to serve. Stay with us.
Come and explore the new Terra, where color lives.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Welcome back to Terra at Home, where Chef Rachel is just finishing off our lovely carrot soup. Rachel, the color is spectacular. It looks great.
Isn't it? Thanks, Chris. So just a quick little recap. We did the grated onion, sauteed that in butter. We added in our seasonings, our cayenne, salt and pepper, chicken stock, some cream, the carrot puree. And you really only have to simmer it for about 5 minutes, get everything mixed together there. It turns this beautiful orange color, and we're ready to serve.
Sounds great. So we're going to use a bit of our servingware from the Seasons collection from Terra. So we've got a nice personalized soup tureen that we can serve in.
Beautiful. Okay, I'll ladle this in. Try not to make a mess.
As you
Very
said,
nice.
Rachel, we used cayenne pepper, salt, and pepper for this recipe, but of course you could always add your own flair to it with your own distinct blend of spices or different herbs that you want to use.
Exactly. Make a couple different versions of your carrot soup.
Oh,
we
that
go.
looks lovely. And we'll garnish with a little bit of fresh cilantro, as you said.
And then I have a nice fresh multigrain baguette here. A couple slices just for dipping. Beautiful.
Oh boy. This one's for me, right?
Okay, you can have that one.
Of course, as always, you can find this and all of Chef Rachel's recipes online at terragreenhouses.com. That's fabulous.
There we go. Looks good.
Sounds great. So we're serving with a crusty baguette. Of course, you could serve this alongside any kind of main as an appetizer or with a side salad too.
Yeah, with soups, I mean, you can do almost anything with them. Like you said, as a whole main dish, you get a big, nice hearty bowl of it, or just as a little appetizer. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks to all of you for joining us. Come right back to us here next week for more from Terra at Home.